Hello, class. And just like the banner says here, you're halfway there. You made it through the midterm, and we are off and running into the final 2 weeks. And it's going to be an interesting final 2 weeks because we do have a holiday thrown in here that's going to kind of uh, toss things around a bit, if you will. So I want to make sure that everybody is prepared for what's coming. And so one of the things that I'm always asked about are extensions. I'm going to go over those as I do the sharing of the screen. But one of the things I do want to point out is next week, Thursday, 10 o'clock, the class ends. That means there are no extensions beyond that time. 10 o'clock, the class will actually lock. I'm unable to give extensions beyond that time because there simply will not be a class, okay? So if you're in the class at that time, you will be bumped out, and then we total up everyone's grades, we turn those in, and then the class is cleared for the June class that will be coming in. So 10 o'clock, please do not try to email, text, etc. assignments after that 10 o'clock. I will not open those. That would give somebody an unfair advantage that other people would not have. So at 10 o'clock, that is it. All discussions, all projects, all chapters, including the final exam, those all have to be completed and submitted by that 10 p.m. Time. That being said, the final week's assignments will open this Friday. Okay, the reason why they open this Friday is to give you that weekend to work on them. So I advise you to have everything caught up so that when Friday comes on around, you can at least knock out some of, if not all, those assignments and possibly even complete your final week early, knowing that Monday is a holiday. Okay. Now, I do not work 24/7 this weekend. It being a holiday weekend, I will not be available. Okay. I will be checking in here and there and possibly be able to help you sporadically, but I will not be there if you're having all kinds of issues throughout the weekend. Just like an on campus instructor, they do not sit in those classrooms on the weekend waiting for you to drop by. So I will not be available. So please try to get through those assignments, take a look and see what's going on before the weekend. All right. So I strongly recommend that. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen here and I want to view it as a student so that I can show you a few things. Uh, one of the things I want to remind people, don't try to launch your assignments over here in the to-do list. That's causing problems. People are trying to do that again. You can't do that. Please stay out of this section that says McGraw-Hill Simnet. Use the modules, okay? Very important, use those modules. Trying to access and the SIM book through phones, either Apple or Android. That's not effective. You will have issues. I can see when people are trying to do that, it tells me that it's the Android operating system or iOS. The other thing, if you're using an iPad, don't use the Canvas app. Okay, that causes problems. Again, I see that when people are coming in using the Canvas app. Delete that app off the iPad. Use uh, Chrome, go through Chrome, go through the actual student portal and access it through that way, just as though you're using a standard computer. That's going to allow you to access everything correctly. All right. Now, when you go into the modules, you'll notice some changes, and that is as you scroll down here, you start off with week 2. Week 1 in that intro area, those are now removed. As you can no longer access those, week 1 is out. You can no longer access that, and those assignments are not allowed to be accessed during weeks 3 and 4. Okay, once we hit week 4, you will no longer have access to week 2. If you need extensions for week 2, complete this assignment right here, this week 1, or I'm sorry, this week 2 self-evaluation down here in week 3. What that'll do is it'll ask you questions about these week 2 assignments, Word Chapter 1, 2, 3, and the word quiz and project. This is where you request those extensions. Okay. This will also gain you attendance and 100 points. Everyone needs to do this assignment. If you need the extensions or not, you just say, I don't need the extension. Okay. But it gives you the attendance and the 100 points. Okay. Remember, you get attendance by completing assignments, not attending the live sessions. So do the assignments. All right. Wednesday, your assignment is you must complete at least 1 point in this discussion. While you're in there, do all 3 posts if possible. Uh, I had a number of students, again, that gave up either 60 or 80 points in the discussion by not completing 3 posts. Okay. Um, Time gets away from people, but seriously, this is your career. This is why you came to Southern Tech, is so that you can change what's going on, hopefully put you on a new trajectory into a new career. Writing a few sentences to get points to get a better grade point average so that you can move on into that career. Put forth the effort. No matter what you're doing in your life, always put forth 100% effort. Most people, when asked, they would say they have a great work ethic in that. Remember, your work ethic is your lowest amount of effort you put into your work. Okay. So if you're putting in low work effort, that is your work ethic. Always strive for the best. Okay. We all get overwhelmed. Things pile up. I understand that. But when it's over and over and over, start thinking and make a change. You're the one that can control that. Think about how to do that. Think about what is getting in the way and how to move that block. All right. So you can do that. So Excel, we've heard of it. Some have used it. Some fear it because of those dreaded formulas. You're not going to be asked to memorize formulas in this class. Always remember that anything you need to do in this class is given to you. You just need to utilize it, and you can do that. Don't let it get into your head. You can do these things. Use your tools. Everything in this class is a type of tool, and you're great with working with your hands. This is an extension of those hands. These are just another form of that. If you start thinking along those lines, you'll find that adaptation much easier to handle. Okay, in welding, you do inventory tracking, job costing, quality logs. The number one reason for weld shops not being able to make it is cost overruns, missing deadlines, etc. They're not utilizing tools that can be tracking this stuff. And this is what causes them to go under. Something as simple as inventory tracking and project management that is critical to these types of shops. That is what's doing them under. So new shops that come in that manage this type of information, as opposed to the older shops that are not utilizing it, that's the difference. Now, some old shops have caught on and they're utilizing newer technologies. So they're combining those incredible older skill sets and new technology, and they're thriving even more. So think about how these work together. HVAC, your maintenance scheduling, the lifeblood of HVAC itself, setting those up, getting those repeat customers, etc. Energy analysis, estimate. These are the things that utilize Excel to the extreme. This is your income. Electrical, those load calculations, project planning, compliance records, things like this, mapping out ways to capitalize on the needs of the client in real time, not going back to a shop because you going back to the shop leaves them hanging and able to bring in somebody else who can do it. Medical assisting, veterinary assistant, you guys kind of overlap in your needs for those charts, those tables, the inventory for drugs and other medical supplies. It's through the roof, all the ways that you guys use it. So I want you to think about how you would use it and come down here. Get those 3 posts in. Okay, 3 quality posts. Nail that 100 points. Be done with it. All right, you can do this. Okay, this week, as far as chapters, you have 2 chapters. Okay, why? Because of the stigma with Excel. I want you to get that out of your head. 2 chapters. You can do this. Okay. A quiz. You you breeze through the quizzes. Boom, boom, boom. You get through those quizzes. Your scores are through the people who are not doing well are the ones who simply are not doing the chapters and quizzes. Don't be surprised about the grades you get with the work you're not doing. If you're not doing the work, of course your grade's going to go down. How do you expect to get a good grade or a great evaluation if you're not doing the work? Okay, think about this way. In here, it's a grade. On the job, it's going to be your work evaluation. Okay, either way, not doing the work means a poor performance. Do the work. You will have a decent performance. Okay, so let's talk about this project. This project, how to do well in it, okay? Do not use a different template by anybody or anything. You're going to use Microsoft Excel. Don't do sheets, don't do this, don't do that, because I'm giving you the template you need. Follow along and I am going to show you exactly what to do with what I give you. This is not a typing contest or any type of, training for typing. I'm giving you a sheet that's most of the way done. I want you to use formulas, okay? Not using formulas, you can have your project rejected right here. Boom. Okay? Or your highest score will be 60 to 65, possibly. Okay? Find your career. I'm going to click on the electrical one just to show everybody kind of what it looks like. Okay. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be filling in the blue areas. All right. So that's what we're going to be filling out. So you're going to click download and I'm going to save it on my hard drive. It doesn't matter where you save it on your drive or your desktop, whatever, know where you save your file. Okay. I'm going to save it. Now I am going to go to the student portal. And once I'm here, I'm going to go to Microsoft 365. So I click right there. And then my apps are way down here in the corner. I click on apps, more apps, and then I find Excel, which is the green app. You may have to look for yours. You may have to click all apps. Mine's right here. I'm going to click on that and then upload a file. And click upload. Find my item here, and there it is, electrical, and I'm going to say open, and I have it open. Now, before I dive into this, I'm going to click and give me a blank sheet to explain a few things. Now, Excel is, I'm going to make my sheet a little bit bigger here so you can see it. Excel is made up of these little squares, and each square is called a cell, and that's spelled C-E-L-L, just like that. And you move around by clicking on the squares, or you can use your arrow keys to move up, down, left, right, whichever way you want. And you'll notice as I'm moving around, that there's a little green box following up top and one on the left-hand side. And those ones on the top are labeled with letters, and the ones on the left are labeled with numbers. So if I click here, I am in J2. This cell is called J2. And if I look in the corner, this little box up here is called the name box, and it says J2 in it. And if I click here, I am in E6, and this is in 106 over here, and so on. Now that's important because that's how we identify and do math, etc. in Excel. Okay. Now to put something in a box, you just simply type and hit return. Okay. And it could take numbers as well. Okay. And you'll notice numbers, it moves to the right. That's the way you write numbers, and letters it puts wherever. Now, if I put in too big of an item and hit return, it's going to just kind of make that box go over, but it doesn't really fit. If I click back on it, go up here on that F, go between the F and G, I get two little arrows right there. And if I double click with the left side of the mouse, it's going to automatically expand it. Okay. Now, if I go up there and hold down that left mouse button, I can manually slide it back and forth as long as I'm holding that mouse button down, and I can make it as big as I want. Now, to get rid of an item, I just have to click on it, press that delete button, and I can delete them one by one, or I can click on the whole column, it'll light up, and that deletes that. Now, these letters, if I click on those and they light up, that is called a column. If I click on the numbers and it lights up going across, that's called a row. Each cell is represented by column, then row. And how I remember that, I remember the word crow. Column, then row. That's how I know to reference it by column, then row. That's my way of remembering things. You may or may not like that, but that's how I keep it real for myself. Okay, I'm going to shrink that back down so it takes up less space. Now, one of the things Excel's really good at is putting in data. If I put in a 1 here, then click back on it, and I move my white cross to that green box in the corner, it will turn black. Hold down my left mouse button and pull it across. It's going to fill that with ones. Now, if I put a 1 here and a 2 here, go back to the 1, hold down the left mouse button, let go so it lights up both of those, then go back to the corner, hold down the mouse button now, pull it across. It's going to fill in a series. Okay. So now if I come down here and I would put in a 5 and put in a 9, click on that 5 again, pull it across straight to the 9, then go down to the corner, click and hold the left mouse, pull it across. You'll see that it jumped by 4 every time because it recognizes the difference. Now this doesn't matter if I go back the other way. I can click and pull the left over and then go back to that little green or that little box, hold and pull it the other way, and it will go the same direction. All right. So now if I click in this corner here, it will highlight everything on the sheet. Press my delete key and it'll take care of that. Now it also works with months. If I put in March here, come up here, grab that corner, pull it across, it will write those out, and it doesn't matter which direction I pull those in, it will continue to do so. Okay, now I can also do this with days of the week as well. I can come over here, grab that corner, and I can pull it forward, backwards, and if I pull Monday straight down, it will do that. Now, if I pull all of these straight down, this is what happens. So it reacts a little bit different when you pull a group of them. Okay, so those are nice little parlor tricks in doing that, but we're here for math. So I'm going to start over here. I've got a 1 and a 2, and I want my total over here. Now, when we add things, we say 1 plus 2 equals. Okay, so that means if I want my total over here, it's got to be equal to something because that's how we say it. So in math, in Excel, we always have to have an equal sign. Only we do it a little different. We have our equal and we say this by clicking on it plus, and then we click on the next item and then we hit enter. And I have my 3 over here. Oh, that's a lot of work for just doing that. But now I can come back here and I can change this 2 to a 5 and hit enter. Boom, I've got a 6 over there. And the reason why is because this 6, when I click on it, if we go up to this long bar here, that's called the formula bar. And you can see it says B3 plus C3. Well, B3 is this. That's B3, and this is C3. So it doesn't matter what those numbers are, I'm going to add them together. I can change that 1 to a 7, hit return, boom, I've got a 12 over there. The reason being is it's always going to take whatever's in these two boxes and add them. Just like shoe boxes with a number, whatever's in those two boxes, add them and put it over there. Now, what happens if I have a bunch of numbers? And I want to add all of those up. Now that would get a little pretty long to keep doing that over and over and over. But that's where the formulas come into place. We're going to click on formulas, and there's this thing that looks like a crooked M on its side there called AutoSum. And I'm going to click on that, and automatically it said, hey, you want to add all these numbers up? Because it's smart like that. It takes all the numbers it assumes you want to add. And that's what sum means. Sum means addition. And it says B3 to O3. B3 is here to O3. Well, if I didn't want to add all of them, maybe I only want to add to K, I could change that to K3. But yes, that's what I want to. I want to add all of that. So I'm going to hit return. Boom, that's 700. You can manually add that up, but I guarantee you it's 700. Now, if I change this 81 to 80, 80, not 800, 699. And I can change this one to 49, and it's going to keep changing. This is how inventory systems stay so current and quick. Or when your client says, I want to grow this project. I thought I wanted it this big, but I want to make it 15 times bigger. You don't have to do all new calculations. You can just grow it by 15% or 15 times, I mean. So let's go back to our project. So we want to know the total cost of this first item. So we do equal, and we're going to click on the quantity, and then we're going to multiply. Well, to multiply, it is a shift of the 8 on most keyboards, which looks like a little star or asterisk is what it is. And then we're going to multiply that by that unit price by clicking on it. And then we hit return. There's our total. 2 times 65 is 130. Now we're going to click back on that 130, and there's that little green corner piece, that little black square there. And when I move my cross close to it, I go from a white cross to a black cross, hold down that left mouse button, and we're going to pull it straight down to that last actual item, not the total, the item. Let go. Boom. It just did the totals for me on every one of those items. Now the discount, you make that up. So I'm going to put some discounts in here. You're going to have to do a little bit of typing. I didn't do it all for you. You can add that in yourself. Oops, I'm going to give them a $5 one there. Okay. And then the miscellaneous fees are already in there. You don't have to put that in. I did that for you. Now we're at the final cost. So we're going to do an equal, and your final cost is that total cost. So we're going to click on that. And then we're going to subtract that discount. Okay. So we subtract the discount out, and then we're going to add in, so plus the fee. We're going to stick them back with that fee. And then we hit return. And there it is. So it's $130. Then we take $5 out. That's 125. But then we add $2.50 back in. That makes 127. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. Click on it, go to that corner, pull it down to that next to the last item. Boom. That does all your totals that quick. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here for the quantity, we're going to go up to that auto sum under the formulas, click there, hit return. Okay. We're going to do the same thing for that one. There we go. Hit return. Now we could do that for the rest of these, or we can click right here, grab that in the corner, just pull it across, and there we go. Now that you finish that on your project, go to File, create a copy, download a copy, and I'm going to say complete. You name it the way you need to complete, save yours though, and I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to go back here to my project, close this, click on my green box there, click on the rocket ship, click on that project, say open, and submit. And I got confetti and pizza for that. All right. And that is how you actually complete this project. All right. And so if you have any questions about this and what's coming up, I will be doing a recording for the last project and trying to get that out there before Friday. So those that will be doing some working ahead on Friday, it will be available to you. And so this weekend with the holiday and it being a weekend, I will be checking in here and there. But like I said, I will not be available most of the time. Have a great weekend and prepare and be ready for that short week next week. And definitely catch anything up and stay with your assignments through this third week.